What's good, family? This your boy David Brown with FBA Roots Unleashed. When foundational Black Americans demand tangible things like reparations, an anti-hate Black crime bill, and real police reform with teeth from Democrats in the Congressional Black Caucus, have you ever noticed their responses? The 3 ways they say no while smiling. I'm going to break that down for you today. Stay with me. And if you agree with what I am about to say, drop an L in the comments. Here's how the game is played. You approach the Democrats and the CBC with a firm demand for reparations. You say, "We want what is owed." And what happens? Here comes the explaining. They look right at you and say, "Oh, it is too divisive. We just do not have enough support in Congress." Wait a minute. The Japanese Americans received their reparations. Jewish Americans received their restitution. Native Americans received land and financial settlements. But when foundational Black Americans ask for the exact same justice, the explaining comes again. They found support for these groups. The money was allocated to them. For FBA, just an explanation. A long, detailed, polite explanation for why, no, they are not failing to deliver. They are succeeding at explaining why they won't. They are very good at explaining. Why? Because as long as they are explaining, they do not have to deliver. Then you approach them with your next demand. You say, "We need an anti-hate Black crime bill." What happens next? Here comes the okey doke. They look at you, shake their heads, and say, "We cannot gather enough broad support for a bill like that." Really? Because we all watched them find that exact broad support for the Asian hate crime bill. They passed it swiftly. They passed it proudly. But when you ask them to find that same support for an anti-hate Black crime bill, here comes the okey doke. They pivot. They shift the focus. They talk about unity while practicing exclusion. They dodge. They weave so they do not have to stand up and deliver real results. Finally, you approach them with a matter of life and death. You say, "We demand real police reform with teeth." And what do? Here comes the old switcheroo. They tell you, "We cannot just pass a bill for one race of people. Your demand is unreasonable. We would lose the progressive support of the Democrats and other caucuses, even though the violence targets one race, even though the data targets one race." But the data is right there in their own government files. The FBI's own statistics prove that Black Americans are the most targeted demographic in the United States. The evidence is undeniable. Yet, here is the old switcheroo. They prioritize progressive coalitions over the literal survival of the people voting for them. They switch the problem from their failure to act to your demand being the problem. Your reasonable demand becomes the obstacle. Your justice becomes unreasonable. It's a magic trick. They make the need for reform disappear. Poof, gone. All that's left is an excuse. See, family, this is a common theme from the Democrats and the CBC. The explanation, the okey doke. And do not forget the old switcheroo. They have gotten really good at avoiding Black American demands. They have had years of practice. And they do not do it alone. They have outside help. They use Democrat shills, the boule, and legacy Black civil rights groups to run interference. These groups go out into the community and test the talking points. They find which no sounds most like yes. They treat you like a focus group to see which excuse will best do the gatekeeping. Once they find the excuse that works, the Democrats and the CBC deploy those talking points nationally to the masses. Every election year, these politicians are sent up here to pacify FBA. To borrow the words of the great Malcolm X, "You have been took, you have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok." This is what the Democrats and the CBC do. Foundational Black American demands will never be met by compromising. The only path forward is unified, unapologetic, FBA, grassroots transactional voting. No tangibles like reparations, no vote, no anti-hate Black crime bill, no vote, no real police reform with teeth, no vote. FBA has to speak the only language these politicians actually understand. In Congress, the only thing they want to avoid is losing. If the Democrats and the CBC get handed an L at the ballot box, that is a message they understand very clearly. That is the exact effect FBA needs to deliver nationwide. Hand them the loss and let them burn in that L. Be ready, because when you do this, they will come running. They will send their Democrat shills, the boule, and the civil rights groups straight back to you. They will test out brand new talking points to get FBA back in line and back on the plantation. When they do, you look them in the eye, and all you have for them is another L. We keep delivering it. That's the only message they hear. That's the only game we play now. Why? Because that is the only message they understand. FBA will continue to deliver that exact same L until they deliver our reparations, our anti-hate black crime bill, and our real police reform with teeth. Drop that L in the comments if you are ready. I'll land my plane right there. Thanks for tuning in. Hit that like and subscribe for more real talk. Stay rooted. Stay awake. I'm David Brown, and we'll catch you next time.